The,
All right. So
awesome.
I just wanted to thank you guys for taking time out to talk with us today. Like I was just saying, we kind of got put on each other's radar from Summerfest last year. And I'm so glad that that happened because I just fell in love with the music from the start. So I wanted to kind of start out because I know a lot of people may not be familiar with you guys. So how did you kind of get started? Tell us a little bit about your background and a little bit beyond what your bio says there. What kind of first started the Moon City Masters out?
Jordan, you want me to start, or you want to start?
I was just about to ask you the same thing, actually.
Well, we've our first concert. We always grew up loving rock music. It really. Our dad was a kid of the '60s and '70s. He went to Woodstock, so he would show us
Cool.
bands like Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones and all that era, that late Cream, and then our older brother, he got us into harder rock, like Van Halen and Ozzy and Guns N' Roses, and our older brother Zach, he was just into everything. And we have a lot of siblings, and but what really got us going, wanting to play, is we saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers, our first concert, on the By the Way tour, and the next day we asked our dad for guitars. Then a few months after that, Jordan switched to bass, and we've been in a million bands growing up, and they've always been Jordan and I with either one or two, three other members. And our band before the Moon City Masters broke up, it was like a progressive rock band, and we were just like, you know what? We're always the two that's always on the same page. Musically, let's not get other people in this. Let's just, a thing that you and I do, no compromising. Let's just completely our vision, and we love a lot of that '70s, early '80s rock and a lot of like funk, soul music, and it's just we're just trying to write the music we want to hear.
Yeah, our vision for the band, there was always a band that I wanted to hear and I couldn't find it, which in my opinion should be the music that you write. You should always write the write the music that you wanted to hear. That band that you wish exists that doesn't exist. To me, that's the kind of music every band should write.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's perfect explanation. Yeah, absolutely. And you guys nail so many different things in your music. Like you said, the '70s is in there, but also it just doesn't sound like anybody else. And that's such a great thing to have. And whether you guys are doing a funkier, groovy kind of song, or something a little harder, it all is you and instantly recognizable as the Moon City Masters.
Thank you.
We're in 2020,
and that's the thing, we don't want to.
And we've had rock and roll for a very long time now. So whenever anyone tells us that we sound like something that they've never heard before, I'm always just like, it's such a huge compliment, because what haven't we heard before?
Right.
So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, there's some bands that you just hear, and from the very start, you just know who it is, even before anybody sings, before they get more than, a few notes into the song. And that's where I think you guys are at. I just love it. Love it. So
yeah, it's funny. Our booking agent, when he first started working with these, like, you guys are the first classic rock inspired band that I've heard in a while that doesn't sound like Led Zeppelin.
Okay, we're not going to mention who he might have been referring to.
I'm gonna mention that band, Greta Van Fleet, and I think they get too much hate. I think they're doing their thing and they're doing pretty great.
I agree. I love Greta. I think
they get too much hate, and I think a lot of those people. I think it's very trendy for a lot of people. I see mostly on Facebook, people shitting on them, but I think a lot of those people secretly go and listen to them.
They probably do. They're great. They're a great act live. I've seen them a bunch of times, and they do put on an amazing show, and I totally like their vibe. But
I haven't found one video of them where they don't deliver.
No.
I'm not like, I don't know their catalog inside and out. I know maybe like 5 or 6 songs, maybe, just guessing off the top of my head. And you know what? Okay, I'm sorry that I'm sorry that Led Zeppelin said not everything has to be the most just because they're easily identifiable with that. I don't know. I think that
Yeah.
they're doing great. I think they're doing
They,
great.
they kill it. They're great. You know, I think, and also their brothers playing together, and I'm
Right?
biased. I love that.
No, you gotta love it, you know.
So you mentioned brothers playing together. So let me ask you a question about that. Is it hard being siblings and especially twins being in a band together, or is it easier?
I think in some ways it's easier, in some ways it's harder. I think, you know, look, we're brothers. We fight like brothers. We argue. But you know the one thing we never argue and fight about? Music. Like where we're going direction-wise, creativity. Bro, if you spend a lot of time with anyone, you're gonna get in your spats. But what the main thing is, and we're best friends. We hang out almost every day still. And but you know, honestly, when it comes to making music, we have never had a disagreement on that. And that was the whole point of the Moon City Masters. You and I are always on the same page. We're not always on the same page with everyone.
We have an idea about something. We both know that we have each other's best interest so much that when we'll like take our voice recorder out on our phone, we'll record my version of what I think the song should do, his version, and we both like, there's never a disagreement about which one is better. You know,
it's like, okay, that would clearly
we
better.
both know that we have the interest of the song, the interest of each other. No one's flexing for power. No one's like, well, you got out my special part of the thing that I was, you know.
Or Jordan, you sang lead more. You sing this much more than I did at this thing, so I need to sing lead on this song, even though your voice fits this song better. You know,
bullshit. You know that comes along with people like, and there's none of that. Like we can be. Sometimes the hard thing comes from sometimes because your brother is, sometimes it's hard to separate stupid bickering from like, hey, we're just having like a little disagreement. But you know, but the great thing about being brothers is that you're not going to walk away from your brother. You
Absolutely.
know,
yeah, a fight that would break up a normal band's not going to break, because brothers fight, but brothers love harder than anything. And yeah, honestly, I think overall it's an advantage.
I think so too.
That we have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's maybe what makes the Moon City Masters work so well, is because you're in tune with each other, and you know, as long as musically you vibe, and like you said, you're not going to separate. You know, your brothers. It's not like one of you is going to kick the other out of the band or anything like that because of ego trips or you know, something like that. So you do have that advantage. But I get the bickering part too, because I have 3 sons, so I get that.
That's what we do. It doesn't mean anything.
If someone says they don't fight with their sibling, they're lying.
Exactly.
Everyone fights with their sibling. Everyone, like nothing so deep, but like it's like, don't talk like that to me. Ah, screw you.
So I know that, you know, your debut album came out back in, I think, 2019. Okay, The Adventures of the Moon City Masters, and then it seems probably like things kind of were just rolling and just getting really started well for you, and then COVID, boom. So what did you guys do when everything kind of shut down, and did you just start focusing on the new music, or how hard was that?
Yes, it's a mix, actually. You know, it's in some ways everything was just going so well for us in COVID shutdown. That's true on some level, because we were, you know, we were always playing gigs, but we were also just working musicians, you know, like all the time. We were playing parties, weddings, everything like that. And we were playing, and we were so busy that there were, you know, there were times that I felt like, and even though we always had shows, and we're in New York this week, we're in Boston next week, we were really trying to do that. We didn't have, in my opinion, the time to like sit down and really figure out like, well, how do we grow a fan base? How do you grow because even though when it comes to writing music, it's not a business. That's your art. But what you do with the art after that is your business, is how I look at it and how we look at it. I never want to speak for both of us, you know, but like, so
but I agree.
But we had finally, even though, you know, thankfully, you know, I'm not going to go into like every detail. The money, you know, we both figured out our work situation in a way that it was, I was financially fine enough, but had a lot more time, both of us. And we were able,
during the height of the pandemic,
with working with our manager, starting a relationship with our manager, we really were able to hunker down, and though we missed the live shows, really work on our web presence, and that actually grew our fan base more than anything we did before the pandemic.
Yeah, like Chris, we just focused on putting, like, when the height of the pandemic and it got real to me, this is not going to go away in a month. I got real down, like, oh my God, I'm not going to play a show forever. And my fiance's like, you guys got to focus on what you can control. And we just focused on web presence and putting out the best music we can, which we're still doing. And, our fan base grew so much more during the pandemic than it did pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And like playing Summerfest and playing festivals and the gigging, obviously we haven't gotten to gig as much as we wanted because it's so hot and cold with this pandemic, but the opportunities we have gotten are so much better than the opportunities we were getting before the pandemic.
That's great. I'm glad that you were able to use that to your advantage and grow that fan base, and that because everybody was stuck at home too. Nobody was going to shows to see live music. So you had to turn to other means to discover new bands and new music that you otherwise may have been exposed to in person. So I hope that trend starts the opposite way too, where all the people that you grew online start to come out to the shows and support you guys when you get out there. Cause that's my thing, when I can get to see the people in person and experience the live music.
Ours too.
No, you were talking about your coworker in Wisconsin wanting to come see us at Summerfest. And when we played and opening up for Sheila E., there were people that knew of us and that we didn't know them, or like, you know, when we played our first show of the pandemic in New York City, our first headline show since the pandemic started, and there was we tripled, maybe quadrupled our audience since before the pandemic, and I was like, wow, it's
That's
like we're still got such a long way to go, but like, wow. This isn't just people liking us, giving us likes, but don't really want to engage in the real world. We're actually building fans. That's awesome.
And you've been putting out a lot of new music. You know, a lot of singles have come out. You know, a month ago, I think it was Draw the Line.
Yeah. And then we have a new one coming out on May 6th. And then
now I really like that one because you let me sneak peek that and listen to it before it comes out.
Thank you.
Wow. I love that vibe. I let you come in. It's well, first of all, let's say it's called Spinning Wheel, so everybody knows what is coming from you guys. So when it starts and you got that just like jangly guitar sound, okay, and then I dig that just Southern rock kind of laid back, totally vibe. That it's awesome. So I love that song. Well, I like all the songs, but I really like that new one that's going to be coming out. So I hope that people will be able to check that out as well. So tell me, the two of you, what is your process like for writing a song? Does one come up with an idea and you kind of work on it together, or how does that work between the two of you?
Well, and I'd say that, you know, it's like you write like 100 riffs and one is good. one is good.
Yeah, it takes
and you just got some, and you know, one will be good, and the one that's typically good has something that is just really easy to sing over, and you know, and that's the main thing, you know.
One of us will usually write a riff and then bring it, and it's like, oh wait, I got something that would go with that, or it inspires one of us immediately to come back with something right away, and you know, or it's really, everything's a little bit different, but it all comes with one of us wrote like a little riff or something, and then we meet up the next day and we jam, and it inspires us. And then Jordan typically Jordan writes most of the melodies, and Jordan is the primary lyricist of our band.
Okay.
So I know when I write riffs, I know it's good when Jordan writes a catchy melody over it, like instantly.
Okay, but a lot of times when I'm writing lyrics, I'm just like sitting there, and like while you're playing stuff on guitar, and I'll say this line, you know, and then you'll be like, well, what about this? Like, no. And then I'll be like, that sucks. Well, how about this? And it's just like, this is like what you said, but it rhymes more.
Yeah, it is just random. It's just improving. It's just jamming.
Yeah,
that's all. We just jam. There's
ideas, and then you refine them. You trim the fat. You know.
Usually the music comes first, and then we write a vocal. You know. that is the it's usually like because we first write riffs and they're like, okay, can we come up with anything good to sing over this? And if we can't come up with a good melody that a hook to us, then we move on to something else.
It stays in the voice memos, you know, until maybe gets dug out for a future tune.
You have to save them all. You have to save them all. I mean, Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath has books of them.
My phone is starting not to work from how much scrap.
Jordan, Chris was saying that. Oh, you're talking about Tony Iommi, how he just has riffs after riffs in his vault, right?
He has so many riffs. Like he could put out like multi-disc sets of just nothing but riffs. So it's like crazy. So don't like ever throw anything away. Like save everything. Like every little. If you write something on a piece of scrap paper, I mean, just save that stuff and put it somewhere. I mean, I know you live in New York City, so space might be an issue with scraps of paper, but save every notebook, because in 30, 40 years, you're going to look back and there's going to be people, because I'm telling you, you will be relevant in 30 and 40 years. I feel that. I feel like people are going to be like, yeah, still vibing this music because it's modern, but it's timeless. What you guys are doing, you know, listen to it in the 60s or in 2060. It's not going to matter. So save all that stuff, because somebody's going to want to put together some kind of crazy, fantastic box. Well, who knows? It won't be a box set by then, probably, but we'll have some kind
box
of
sets are coming back.
They'll have.
Came back.
What came back?
Vinyl came back, so box sets are coming back.
Yeah, vinyl is really great now.
Box sets.
So you're gonna have some kind of whole.
But you know, you like don't throw anything out. Like I wrote the Draw the Line riff 2 years ago, and I wrote it 2 years ago, and I just couldn't think of anything to do with it until one day I played the riff. I put the capo in the third fret, so I did it in a slightly higher key than I wrote it, and then Jordan sang the melody. The if it ain't, I'm like, that's it. We're writing something with this now. Sometimes you just don't, like Eddie Van Halen, I think he had the riff, the keyboard riff for Jump. I think he had it for like 2 albums before he ever even made 1984.
Yeah,
you know? I know right now he had it like that. You never know like when it's gonna finally click that riff.
Exactly. So, you know, save everything, and when you're releasing stuff in some kind of fantastic package down the road, somebody might want to pay big money for that notebook that you got holding in your hand right there. I could see it.
The fact that anyone wants to pay money for anything with us, I'm very humbled by.
So now that you've got some new music coming out, we've got the new single that's coming out on May 6th. Any gigs coming up or tour dates or anything in the works?
There are stuff in the works. We're about to announce a headline. It'll be announced by the time this comes out. We're announcing a headline show at Mercury Lounge in New York City for June 10th. Our booking agent is working on some stuff. Hopefully he'll let us know. I think he's working on some stuff for us to do this summer. I'm hoping to hear back from him soon. And we're working on we were supposed to go to Europe in March into April, but then Omicron, so we are currently rescheduling a European tour for November.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and more stuff in the works, but that's right now. It's a tough time because everyone's trying to tour right now. Right. Everyone's out on the road, but we're hoping that, I think we're supposed to talk to our agent this week, and hopefully he's got some fun stuff for us to do this summer.
I hope so. I know that if you guys ever come down this way, I'll be there with bells on, checking it out.
It's not if, it's when. We will be there in the next year. I know we will.
Awesome. So we have a lot of things to look forward to from you guys. We've got the new single coming up, and we have possible tour dates coming up. And of course, everybody can stay tuned to all your social media so that they can stay in touch with everything that the Moon City Masters has going on.
Yeah, and we're always making noise on there, so it's never a dull moment.
Well, thank you guys for taking the time to talk with us. We appreciate it so much.
This was so fun.
Thank you so much.
This was fun. This was a fun interview. And I will need from you guys, if you don't mind, if you can email me like a press photo that you want to use with this.
Of course.
Yeah.
That'll be good. And then do you want this to come out the day the single drops?
That would be amazing.
That would be perfect.
Yeah, I'll have it all set up and ready to go, and then it'll just go live on the 6th. And the only thing is, are you releasing any kind of video with it on that day, or like a
No, just
audio version, or?
We'll have an audio video that we'll put that we'll have on YouTube, and we do an ad that it's like a minute long. My fiance does all our artwork and all our video content.
Okay.
I'm very lucky because we do an ad. If you want like the minute clip of the video ad, or if you want the audio video that we put on YouTube, I can send that to you as well.
Yeah, if you don't mind emailing me that, and I'll figure it all
Yeah,
out.
okay. Well, that's good. That video clip will be a little bit like closer to the week of the release in the audio video, but I'll get all that to you the week of.
Yeah, whenever, no problem at all. I'll have everything else from this and the written article and everything ready to go, and I'll just add those when you send them over.
Awesome. Yeah, and I'll send you a press pic right now.
Okay, cool. Awesome. I love it, guys. Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
We're gonna get this up, and
have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much.
Oh, I am going to. I'm gonna get out there. It's a beautiful day here in North Carolina, which is where I am. It's probably about 84 degrees out and sunshine.
Lucky.
Where in North Carolina are you?
I'm in Charlotte.
Cool. I would love to play Charlotte. I've heard it's a great town.
It's a great city. It's booming right now. We've got a really great music scene. Lots of venues from small to big. We just had Billy Joel was just at the football stadium here Saturday night.
Wow.
Cool.
That's cool. I've always wanted to check out Charlotte.
Shows are happening. It's a great city. It's a fun city. I think you like it. So this is a personal invitation. Come on down.
Okay, well, we're invited, so we're going to come. Now that we're invited.
Yes, absolutely. You got to tell people.